All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. I know that people generally jump on these things as we go along. My name is Matthew Gillogly. I'm your host for today, and what we're going to be talking about is how healthcare marketing is different from marketing in other industries. This is a big question that I get quite a bit. During this webinar, I'm going to walk you through what we've learned in owning our own practices. You'll learn more about my background if you're not familiar with it. And so let's go ahead and get started. What I want to give you by the end of this webinar is you'll have a roadmap to successfully market your practice. And this is a big challenge for practice owners and doctors because this is not something that you're trained on, right? This is not something that they discuss in med school. And so the goal is not only will you be trained or have a better understanding of how this works, but this will bring you more patients who bring you more profits, not just revenue. I'm talking about profits because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why you have a practice and how you stay in business is through profits. And more importantly, more personal time off. You know, I talk with doctors each and every single day. I've been working with doctors in a coaching environment since 2018. I've owned my own practices since 2014. And while I'm not a doctor, you know, in employing the doctors and in our management company and all of that, I hear the same thing over and over again. Overworked, underpaid, really underappreciated. And each and every single year, it just seems to get worse and worse. And so what I want to help you, and so what happens is that doctors, when they go out on their own, they wind up really being taken advantage of, right? Because you don't understand how business or how the whole marketing and marketing of a healthcare facility really goes. And so you wind up hiring agency after agency. You run another ad campaign, or maybe you go buy a new machine, or maybe you go attend a new event. And really what happens is that doesn't really solve the problem. And so I want to give you that foundation to be able to solve that problem. Okay. Now this is interactive. If you want to ask questions in the chat, please feel free to go ahead and do so. My name is Matthew Gillogly. I am the founder of the Carolina Men's Clinic, which is the Carolina's #1 provider of erectile dysfunction solutions. We started that clinic in 2014. I sold my interest in those in 2017. I was the chief executive officer and general managing partner of that. I am the host of the Practice Profit System, which is a podcast for doctors and practice owners and how to scale up their practices. I speak around the country. I have coaching programs. I do partnerships. I actually been invested in 7 practices across the US as we speak, and that number is continually growing. Now, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I'm just a business guy. And this is just some of the some of the clinics that we've worked with. Mickey Barber's Better Life Carolinas, Boston BioLife is not a clinic, but we speak for Boston BioLife. Top Doctor clinics in Miami, LA Vitality, Unique Medical, Stay Young Centers for Women, Stay Young Centers for Men, Boosted MD, Chicago Arthritis and Regenerative Medicine, Victory Medicine, Arthritis VIP, the list, there's a big list. There's a lot more that's on there. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you is used in our clinics today. And these are clinics that we own today. We own interest in clinics in New York, Florida, Tennessee, Texas, Colorado, and Arizona. It works for our clients' practices in places like Billings, Montana, Manhattan, New York, not Manhattan, Kansas, Jackson, Tennessee, numerous locations in Michigan, Washington, D.C., Buffalo, South Atlanta, and more. We've done it in rural markets. I've done it in medium-sized markets. We've done it in major competitive markets like LA, Phoenix, all of those places. So this is a system. Okay. I'm not here to talk to you about running more Facebook ads or running a campaign for you. That's not what we're going to talk about. I'm actually going to give you kind of a behind the scenes look of what you have to do in order to be successful with marketing and bringing in patients into your clinic and doing it in the context of healthcare. Okay. So, and this also works, by the way, if you have a list of patients who are mostly Medicare and Medicaid. Many of my clients come to me and they are an insurance-based practice and they want to transition over to cash. You'll see case studies on that today, even ones that are 90% Medicare and Medicaid. Okay. Now I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So let me tell you about my discovery. I told you a little bit about it, but in 2017, I sold my practices to start a new phase. And I realized that doctors get as much business training as I get on medical training. Now, for the record, my degree's in marketing. and I got 0 medical classes. And what happens is that when doctors want to become, when they want to open up their own clinic, well, then they don't know what to do from a business standpoint. And so the other thing is when they want to become trained in a specialty, they do what are called fellowships. Okay. So a fellowship, as we know, is a process through which you actually learn from somebody that has done what you want to do before, and you learn their systems and processes. And so think of this today as a mini fellowship. So my evil plan was hatched. I wanted to help doctors and medical professionals become better at business and marketing so that more patients can be served with higher quality care and doctors can get paid real money. Oh, and if they want, sell their practice for significantly more than they would normally get. And so that's my mission. I think that a lot of what I have learned is that the future of medicine is really going to be in these self-pay cash services. And if doctors want to maintain some level of autonomy and freedom, they need to be able to have these available and learn how to market them and bring patients in and serve their patients. So, but there's a lot of hurdles to this. One, doctors, right? As we've mentioned before, you all start from a place of business is not your thing. You've got staff that's entrenched in the insurance methodology. And then you've got patients that think that, gosh almighty, this would be great if this was covered under insurance, but if it's not, gosh, I don't know what to do. Or we start with this mentality that unless it's going to be covered by insurance, our patients aren't going to want it. And I'll show you today that that's not the case in any way, shape, or form, that your patients will pay out of pocket for these things. Okay. Now, if you've been struggling to get your practice going, there's a couple of reasons why. What I find in my work with doctors all over the United States and Canada. And it comes down to this little doctor's matrix, or paradox, as I like to call it. And if you look at this line, there are, I want you to think about this line that goes up and down. And I want you to rate yourself on your medical skill on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest. How would you rate your medical skill? Now, if you want to put that in the chat, go right ahead. Happy for you to there's a chat little button. You can type that into the chat if you would like. And I will go ahead and just type a little thing in there so that, we can, there we go, chat previews. But so the question is how would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest when it comes to your medical skill? Now, most doctors I know rate themselves an 8, 9, or a 10. So then let's rate yourself from the business skill. How would you rate from yourself on the business skill? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself? Okay. And most doctors, by the way, rate themselves somewhere around a 3 or a 4. Okay. They rate themselves somewhere around a 3 or a 4. Okay. So as you can see, this creates a problem, right? And let me just walk you through these different models. Okay. Now, if you are a doctor that rates yourself with a low medical skill and a low bankruptcy or a low business skill, you're going to be in what we call the bankruptcy mode. Okay. This is the lower left-hand quadrant. This is the quadrant you don't want to be in. Okay. If you have really low medical skills, like a 3 or a 4, or you have excellent business skills and marketing skills, a 7 or an 8, you're probably going to oversell, right? You're probably going to be that doctor that's always getting investigated, cutting corners medically. We all know that doctor. And then if you are in the upper left-hand quadrant, which means that you are an 8, 9, or a 10 with your medical skill, but your business skill is a 3 or a 4, well, then you're going to be in the perpetual struggle stage. And what happens is that when doctors want to grow their business, what they do is they go buy another machine, they go attend another seminar on how to inject PRP, or they go to a biohacking event, and all those things are fine, but none of it teaches you anything about the fundamentals of running a business. I want you to put it like this. I'm going to put it to you like this. Imagine, instead of learning anatomy and physiology 100 or 101 when you're in med school, okay, imagine if they just all of a sudden stuck you in the ER and said, do this, right? That's what you're really trying to do with the marketing standpoint, is because you don't understand some of the basic fundamentals of the business side and the marketing side, it puts you at tremendous risk, okay? I mean, you would no more do that with a a person that wants to be a doctor and just throw them into the ER and just say, here you go, just figure it out. I mean, that would be malpractice, right? So what I want to do is I want to move you from what I call the left side, the upper left-hand quadrant, from struggle. And I want to improve your business and marketing knowledge and understanding. You don't have to improve your skills, just your understanding, from a 3 or a 4 up to a 6 or a 7. Okay. Because once I get my clients to a 6, they start to experience incredible scale. Okay. So this is why you haven't been successful. If you're here, I'm assuming that you've struggled with this and you want to learn this. Okay. So now I guarantee that what I'm about to show you will make you at least $10,000 in the next 45 days. If you do what I tell you. You will not need to buy another machine. For the love of God, do not buy another machine. You will not have to fly somewhere to learn a new medical skill. You will not have to hire another Facebook agency. You won't be running any Facebook ads. You won't be redoing your website again. None of that. Okay. So there are 3 challenges facing clinic owners when it comes to healthcare marketing. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through these 3 challenges, and we're going to dive deeply into all of this. And I have case studies on every single one of them. Okay. Challenge number 1 is doctors generally have too many machines, too many offers, and too many procedures. So the business model for being a doctor is come back in 2 weeks. That's the business model. And it's designed specifically so that the patient keeps coming back, because you only make money when you have an office visit. Okay. In the cash side, in the elective medical care side, it's the completely opposite. We want to be known for one thing. Now think about this. And I know there's some family doctors on here, but if you have a heart condition, are you going to go to somebody who's a neurologist? No, you're going to go to a cardiologist. You're going to go to somebody who specializes in a particular area of what you need to have fixed. And when we have all these different things that we can do for our patients, we can treat men, we can treat women, we can treat all of this, and I'll talk more about this in a second. We actually are doing a disservice to our patients, right? So I want you to be the expert for one thing in your market. Now, hold on a second, because right now you're probably going, but Matt, I'm really good at a lot of things. Just hang on. I'm going to show you how all those puzzle pieces fit together. But I want you to be the expert for one thing. Let me give you some examples of this. Menopause. Instead of working with all women, work with women that are in menopause, or work with men who are dealing with erectile dysfunction. Or if you're in regenerative, focus on a joint like knees or knees and shoulders. I have doctors that focus just on back. I have a doctor that focuses just on upper back and neck. That's all he does. Okay. So you need to be the expert for one thing in your market. The problem with 95% of practices is they have too many procedures, too many offers, and too many processes. And it looks like this. There's no clear path through which the patient can come into the practice. Okay. So, the problem with this is the patient doesn't know what you stand for. Okay. I will never forget this. When I used to be in the golf business, and I was working at one of our clubs, and there was a doctor there who was he was an expert at pediatric heart conditions, specifically like one of the valves. And I would do disservice to your industry if I spoke about, but he was that specialized, and he had a waiting list like 6 months out, right? He was the best. That's what he focused in on. So the more you can zero in on who you're serving, the better it's going to go, and the more you're going to be able to charge. Okay. The simplest and fastest way to grow is what we call the power of one. And this is the picture of it. We start with what's called a core offer at the bottom. So when we own erectile dysfunction clinics, when we had them, it was come to the clinic one time, meet with the doctor, get a test dose. If you don't see results in 12 minutes or less, you owe us nothing. That's our guarantee to you. Very, very simple. Okay. A very simple approach. Now, we were injecting trimix in the base of the penis. We were giving an erection, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, but this is what we want to know. Like sometimes it's a test and a trial of the machine or something along those lines. The key is that we're targeting one market with one message and one offer. Okay, so we're not doing, well, let me run an ad over here and I'll run an ad over here, and that ad is going to be all about like for women that have menopause, or I'm going to run this ad over here, and then I'm going to also serve this segment over here with ED, and we're going to do it all. Don't do it. Focus, pick first and foremost, men or women. Okay. Second, pick like a specific area or a specific thing. Okay. So this is a great example of this. And this example is for our client or for my, one of my clients, and actually clinics that we own percentages of now. And that is the Stay Young Center for Women. Now, this website is admittedly not very attractive. Okay. This is the landing page. This is the site. Okay. Whoops. Go back here. Sorry, hit the wrong button. But he's delivering one market, one message, one offer. That's it. Okay. He's not doing anything else. And it's all about getting women to come in and treat an area with laser lipo. Their offer is we guarantee with our treatment plan that you will lose 8 pounds in one dress size. Okay. And they've got literally hundreds and hundreds of testimonials that they can use. And they are the epitome. Now, beyond that, what they do is they offer, they have the Emcella for taking care of stretch marks and things like that. And then they're going to be doing some other things, but that is their front end offer. This is Trevor Buccieri who owns it. When they started this process, 2 months and 6 days after opening, they have set themselves up to be $1 million business. That was the 18th of June. They were ending the day sitting at $86,000. Today, the Stay Young Center for Women does over $200,000 a month. All they do is laser lipo. That is it. They don't do a bunch of other things. They have one main location. They're looking at opening up multiple locations. That's all they do, laser lipo. Okay. So second thing, and these are all going to stack upon each other, is you have to be finding creative ways to increase patient appointments. Basically, there is one way that most doctors are taught to generate appointments, and that is, frankly, through Facebook or Instagram or whatever else, okay? And so I want to share with you some different creative ideas of how you can increase patient appointments, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you the case study of Dr. Mark Pietropoli, who's in Skaneateles, New York. That is in upstate New York, halfway between Rochester and Syracuse. He is a well-known orthopedic surgeon for 20 years. He has been trained under Dr. Andrews in Birmingham, Alabama, fellowship in ACL reconstructive knee surgery. He is the go-to doctor for when it comes to reconstructive ACL surgery in the upstate area. He has people fly to him all over the United States. He is a leader in what is called the BEAR, B-E-A-R procedure, which is a mesh type procedure for reconstructing the ACL. But he has a really big problem. His revenues have been dropping precipitously. He has a falling reimbursement rate. He now only makes $1,550 for an ACL surgery, reconstruction surgery. Out of that, he has to pay his nurse, his PA, and the rehab. Okay. His costs are going through the roof like everybody's over the last 18 months, and he's in a small market. So what we did, and this is a creative way that we can use to market to your list. What I'm about ready to share with you has been done by some of the folks that are on this call right now and been done successfully. What I'm getting ready to share with you, you may think that the first step won't work in your practice, but I have done this in practices that are 90% Medicare and Medicaid. I've done this in rural practices. I've done this with practices that have small lists, as small as a couple of hundred. I've done this with groups that have big lists of 29,000. I've done this with groups that haven't emailed their list in 5 years and think that they're worthless. Okay. And that is, we took a small segment of his list, and Mark Pietropoli, Dr. Pietropoli, has a list of 29,000 names, of which he has about a third of those with email addresses. What I'm about ready to share with you, we did this to 600 names. Okay. What we did is we designed what is called a compelling offer, what we like to call is our signature solution. When we first started working with Mark thought that he would only be able to charge $800 for a PRP procedure. And he did what most doctors do. We're going to do one injection. Come back and see me in 6 weeks. If we don't get good results, we'll do it again. Now, the problem with that is an insurance model. Okay. That's how insurance works. We're going to do this, come back and see me. We're going to do this, come back and see me. The problem with that model is if you've ever had a PRP shot in your joint, it hurts. I know because I've had them done. Okay. And I have a really high tolerance for pain. Okay. And it hurts a lot. So, as a consumer, as a patient, and I'm in the industry, so I kind of know what's going to happen. But if you are telling me, oh, if it doesn't work, you're going to come back and do another one and reach into your pocket, you're creating what we call friction. Okay. So what I want all of my doctors to do is to create what is called a signature solution. That signature solution is designed specifically to separate you from your competition. Okay. And it allows you to charge more, and you're going to sell a complete package. Now, Matt, I want you to put it in this context. If you were going to get open heart surgery, would you expect the cardiologist to go, all right, you need a quadruple bypass. What we're going to do is we're going to do one, and I want you to come back in 6 weeks and see how you're doing? No, you would run out the door. You want to do all four at the same time, right? Let's get that bugger open. I'm not letting you crack open my sternum again. Okay. Now, PRP shot admittedly is not a harder rehab as it is to crack open somebody's sternum and replace their arteries, but hopefully you get the point of what I'm trying to share with you. Okay, we have to make a compelling offer that is a signature solution. That is the third step. This signature solution allows my doctors to charge significantly more than their competition. No more are you going to be worried about that your competition down the road is charging $650. If you are trying to compete on price, you will be out of business. Okay, costs are going up. The last thing you want to be doing is dropping prices. Okay, I work with my clients every single day on this, and we always deal with a little bit of resistance on it. But once I get them to raise their prices, the light bulb goes on and they go, oh my God, I had no idea. They think about all the money they were leaving behind on the table. Okay, so here's what Dr. Pietropoli did. We marketed to his list. We had 600 names. We had 60 people inquire back. So we set up a system for him. We managed this for him. We set this out for him, 60 inquiries. He got 12 appointments. He made $59,260 in revenue. That is not a typo. His first one that he sold was $18,760, right shoulder and left knee package. He had a similar one at $15,500 that came in on Friday. And this is a bilateral shoulder. The guy wrote a check for $25,000. Okay. This goes on day in and day out. We just had a call. Well, Mark and I had a call. We do a call every other week. And he shared with me that they just went over $100,000 for the month of October. And he is still only doing cash services 6 days a week. Okay. He's winding down his insurance practice. And he was kind enough to post this on LinkedIn. He said, contact Matt if you want to start to free yourself. If you want to start to free yourself from the grind of insurance-based practice, I highly recommend Matt, which coming from Dr. Pietropoli is a big thing because he is a very particular man, as you can imagine, most surgeons are. So here's what he used to do. He used to do things like run a sale, sell a la carte, chase patients, be more dependent on insurance, and he was not very happy. If you are running the buy one knee, get the second one for free, you are leaving money on the table. It's one thing to do an offer on the front end that's like buy one laser hair removal, get another one for free, or get two for free. But the reality is if you're doing that with your premium products, you are leaving money on the table. No more so than the cardiologist would go, I'll do one artery for you. I'll throw the two in for free. They never do that. Okay. It never happens. So why are you doing it? Your lawyer doesn't give you buy 1 hour, get the second hour free. You are smarter than your lawyer and you're more trained. Okay. So Mark is planning to escape from insurance over the next 90 days. Truth be told, he's probably going to wind up with 2 insurance providers left because they actually pay him well and they are a nice flow of patients. So you don't have to jump completely out of insurance if you don't want to, but let's pick and choose the ones. Now you might be thinking, yeah, okay, that works for Dr. P, but it won't work for me because my practice is different. Well, that leads us to number 3, okay? And that is how to run a successful clinic or practice. Now, I am big on systems, okay? I love systems because I have ADHD, and without systems, my brain goes off on circuits, okay? And so what I am going to share with you is we're going to go through more in a little bit more detail about the systems that we built to scale our practices. Now, I want you to put this into perspective. When we started the ED clinics in 2014, I had never worked in medical ever, ever, ever. The closest I got to working in medical was that I was at that time married to an ER nurse. I used to get queasy when I walked by a Walgreens. No joke. I hated getting my blood drawn. I was one of those guys that came in, okay? So I had zero medical training. And what happened is I learned about this opportunity to go into the ED clinics, and I found it really interesting. We opened in January of 2014. Right now, I know that's 8 years ago, but the numbers are still true today because this is what we experience when we open up clinics today. Okay, and I'm going to show you a couple of case studies on that. But within our first 7 days of opening, we did $70,000 in cash collected. $70,000. By April of that year, we had our first $200,000 month. In January of 2014, we had our first $100,000 week. Now, notice I said first because those started to become pretty regular. By November, we opened our second location in north of Charlotte in Lake Norman. In June of the following year, we opened our third location in Raleigh, North Carolina. Combined, within 18 months of opening our first clinic, we were doing $6.5 million a year. We had 30 plus employees and contractors, and our profit margin was 22%. Okay, that is net to the bottom after paying myself and my partner and the doctors. Okay, so the system that I'm going to share with you is the exact same system that we use to scale our practices. It's the same one that we use in our partner practices. It's the same ones that I share with clients of mine who want to grow and scale their practice. I don't hold anything back. I give you everything that we do. Okay. Now, this is the hard way to run your practice. And it looks like this. You hire an agency to generate appointments for you. You go on Facebook, you get approached by somebody saying, hey, how would you like to have 30 appointments in the next 30 days on your calendar, guaranteed? Well, yeah, of course you're going to do that deal, right? And then you find out that, the appointments booked, but they don't show, or they don't have any money, or they don't know who you are, or your staff calls them and they don't know who you are. So you wind up paying the agency about $1,500 a month. You wind up paying about $1,000 to $1,500 a month out of your pocket. And before you know it, you're in the whole 10 grand. Okay. Second, you invest in another machine. You go to a conference and you run into your friend and they say, oh, we're killing it with this M-Cella chair, or we're killing it with this machine over here. And you go and you invest in another machine, and it's $1,500 a month. Now, you do it without, by the way, knowing if your patients want to do that at all. Okay. You attend another medical training, which is about $4,000, by the way, and all the other stuff, right? All the travel and everything. You redo your website again. That's $3,500. You change billing companies again, right? Thinking that's going to, if I save 0.5%, oh my gosh, or they can promise they're going to make you an extra $1,000 a month or something like that. And it winds up distracting you from the thing that you're doing. Okay. Costs you $5 grand, or you chase the latest reimbursement offer. I hear this all the time. Matt, there's a new program. It's got a great reimbursement rate. We're going to make $800. We get paid immediately, and they do it. And then guess what happens at the end of the year? The reimbursement rate changes and it drops quickly. Or Medicare and Medicaid decide that they're going to claw back some money. All right. So, and then you lose all this time. So most doctors, what I find is that they're losing $24,000 because they have lost 24 grand and they put in lots of lost time. Okay. Now, here's the interesting thing. I'm going to share with you a process, and that is, you want to learn from someone that has done this before. What I encourage you to do is, you're on this call, is you need to find someone who has done what you want to do, meaning open up a practice. Don't get caught on it of going, well, have you done this niche over here? Okay. Medical is medical. The concept of how people think about medical is consistent. All right. So you want somebody that has done this in the industry of medicine, who has worked with doctors, who has a proven track record. and who has your best interests at heart, okay? Now, think about it. This is how you learn to become a doctor. What'd you do? First and foremost, you went to med school, right? Or you did pre-med, then you went to med school, then you started focusing in on a specialty. And what you did is you identified a person that you wanted to train or learn under and learn their secrets and learn their ways, right? So you want to be an orthopedic surgeon, you go learn from somebody who is an excellent orthopedic surgeon. You go do your residency there. Maybe when you come out, you go out and you find someone that you can do a fellowship with. You go and you apply to do a fellowship with Dr. Andrews or whatever it is. And you continue with ongoing coaching, training, and fellowshipping to get better and better. This is how you have done this your entire medical life, which has allowed you to become a great doctor. You become an 8, 9, and 10 on the medical scale of 1 to 10. Well, why is it then that when we want to grow a business, what we do is we just kind of try to figure it out? Now, there's a lot of resources out there on how to learn how to grow a business, but there's not very many, if any, resources out there for someone to learn how to grow and open and scale a practice, okay? So this creates a conundrum. So what you want to do is you need to find and learn from an expert at growing and scaling medical practices. Now, let me tell you a little bit of a personal backstory here. A little bit about me. In 2008, I had a lot of real estate. In 2010, I didn't. There was a thing called the Great Recession. There was nothing great about it. I wound up going bankrupt and wound up losing everything and wound up doing some work for a friend of mine. And that's how I found out about the erectile dysfunction space. Fast forward in late 2013 or 2014, we open up our clinics. And I have, quote unquote, helped our doctors fix 10,000 erections and had zero medical training. Now, I was not injecting, okay, right? The doctors were doing all the performance of the medicine and all of that, but we saw a lot of erections, okay? Here's how it happened. In 2013, I got on a plane and I flew to Birmingham, Alabama. And within 2 days, I agreed to be mentored by an expert businessman in the medical field to teach me how to open and run and scale an erectile dysfunction clinic. He charged me $300,000. It has made me personally millions and millions of dollars. Our clinics, like I said, we're doing $6.5 million a year in 2015, 16, 17, okay? And I did very, very well. It was probably one of the best investments I've ever made. And he taught me everything about running a medical business. I had the knowledge from a marketing and owning a business standpoint because I've owned multiple businesses prior. And throughout my life, this is the model that I've done, is when I want to master something, I pay someone to mentor me. I am a golf nut, avid. I'm a former PGA golf professional. I never played on tour, but I'm a very good golfer. I pay somebody to work with me every other week. I pay somebody to teach me how to do workouts once a month. I have people, when I want to learn how to do something from a marketing standpoint, I pay them and invest in them for them to mentor me. And you've done this same thing. The key is that we need to be able to do this in the business side. Your practice cannot grow if you continually try to grow just your medical skill. People will not come to you just because you have a better mousetrap. You have to let them know you have a better mousetrap. You have to become proficient in the fundamentals of marketing and business, okay? So here's the secret. When I hire somebody, when I hired this man, when I hired him, I did exactly what he told me to do. Now I had a business partner and he was always questioning what he was doing or wanted to change it. And I used to say, Kevin, just do exactly what he tells us to do. And that's where we had 70 grand in the first 7 days of being open and $200,000 in April. I did exactly what he told me to do. I didn't change it. I just did it. When he gave us scripts to use on the phone, we did it. When he gave us a script on how to close the patient in the room, we did it. Everything that he taught us, we did exactly. Okay. Now, as we did this, I learned the fundamentals. You have to learn the fundamentals of business. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no way through it. You have to learn this. Okay. Again, how can you be a really great doctor if you don't learn physiology and anatomy and all the basic fundamentals of the human body, right? That's what you do. You have to do the same thing with regards to business. The good news is this is a lot easier, by the way, than doing it in medicine. At least it seems that way to me. So what do you do? Well, we created a program called Business Mastery Fellowship. In a minute, I'll take you through that, but let me explain a couple of things. I believe that doctors have the absolute worst deal in America. I know of no other group that has been as marginalized as doctors have been marginalized when it comes to their profession. Okay. If you think about everything that you have sacrificed in order for you to become a doctor, you went pre-med, you went to med school, you did your residency, you probably did a fellowship, maybe you focused in on a specialty, right? You have 10, 12 years of medical training just to get to the place where you're starting to see patients confidently. And at that stage, you're 32 years old, 33 years old, and you've racked up $500,000 worth of medical school debt. You've put your personal life on hold. You've put raising kids on hold. You've put traveling on hold, all of this because of your passion to help your fellow man. In the meantime, your friend who's a lawyer is already charging $450 an hour. Then you come out and you realize that you can't really treat patients the way you want because the insurance companies really are the ones that get to make all of those decisions. Okay. So then you get in your mind, oh, you know what? I'm going to open up my own practice. And you do it and you realize it's a lot harder. Okay. So I created this because I believe that one of the things that's the key to the success in the future of our country is that we need to create better options in healthcare than what is just being shoved down the throat of the patients. Okay. I mean, look, the insurance companies made 16 billion, that's with a B, $16 billion last year. They didn't get that simply because they're not, I mean, they are in, what do? They cut your reimbursement rates. Okay. So I was tired of watching doctors get bought up for pennies on the dollar by the VCs and the hospitals. I was tired of choices being taken away from doctors and their patients. And quite frankly, I don't think that doctors should make less than my handyman. I have a really good handyman, but I don't think you should make less than a handyman. Okay. So what I want you to do right now is in the chat, I want you to put in what is the big thing, if there's any big takeaways that you've had so far. Okay. I want you to just type into the chat, what are your big takeaways so far? And what we're going to do is, and if you have any questions so far, please take the time and type those into the chat. Okay. And while we do that, I want to talk to you about this program that we created called Business Mastery Fellowship. And it's designed specifically to help you scale your practice. If you are struggling to grow your practice, this is for you. Okay. I don't care what stage you are in. I have people that have gone through this that are startups. I'll walk through that case study in a minute. We're going to go through a number of in detail case studies in just a moment. I've had people do this that had been in practice for 10 plus years and never really could get above $30,000 to $40,000. Okay. So like everything, it's broken into phases. I want you to think of this first phase as Anatomy 101. Okay. The first phase is that we're going to teach you all the fundamentals of what we call our stairway system. Now, the stairway system is what we use to grow and scale practices. It is proven throughout the United States and Canada. I have yet to run into, we've done it in regenerative, anti-aging, men's sexual health, women's sexual health. I've done it in med spas. I've done it in neuropathy. I've done it in, gosh, I mean, the list just goes on and on. I've done it in weight loss. I've done it in functional medicine. I've done it in vaginal dryness. I've done it, I mean, Peyronie's, you name it. We've done it in it from a cash standpoint. Okay. So the first phase is this, is that we teach you the fundamentals of the stairway system. And the stairway system is a 5-step process of how you grow your practice. Okay. Now, the thing about the stairway system is that it's very, very simple when you look at it, but we want to apply it. The first component is what we call the beachhead. This is here over on the right-hand side. This is where it's the power of ones, what I just shared with you. We want to focus on one market to one message and one offer. This is critical. If you try to be all things to everybody, you will never be anything to anyone. I want you to be something to someone. Okay, the more you can zero in and the more you can target on this, the more you can charge, the more patients you're going to see. Please don't fall into the trap thinking that you have to be the discount low-cost leader for you to see a lot of patients. That just doesn't work. Okay. So the first thing is we're going to walk you through the fundamentals in week 1 of what we call our beachhead strategy. Okay. That is one message, one market, one offer. The second thing is, step two is we're going to teach you how to educate and excite your prospect. The reason why your prospects need to will buy from you is because they know, like, and trust you. We have a system and a process for creating that know, like, and trust. And then third is to convert. And this is where we work on building out your signature solution. This actually, many times, this module will go over 2 weeks because we want to take the time to build your offers. There are people on this call that have been through our programs. And believe me, all of them thought that they couldn't charge more for what they were doing, and all of them are charging more today. Dr. Pietropoli never thought he could charge more than $850 for PRP. Today, his average price is $15,000. $15,000. He's in upstate New York, in Skinny Atlas. It is a rural community, working class community. People pay it all the time, okay? Then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to market to your house list. This is module 4. And in module 4, this is where we're gonna teach you exactly what we have done for Dr. Pietropoli, Mark Hawaz. We've done this for other people that have been through the Business Mastery Fellowship. We have done this for Dr. Nicole Garcia, who has ED clinics in Southern California. We've helped doctors like Kane Lai do it in Denver. We've helped, Siddharth Tambar, who is in Chicago with Chicago arthritis. It's been all over the place. Roy up in Billings, Montana. Okay, so this is how we're going to sell to your house list. And then we go into some other things, like where we talk about lead generation. How do you identify what's a great lead generation program? I want you to create money by selling to your house list enough to then be able to pay for the right kind of lead generation so that you can get the right kind of leads coming in. And then we start to phase into how we're going to create a 90-day plan to scale your practice up. And then finally, how to get your staff on. Okay, so that is phase 1. Okay. It is a 12-week system sprint. There are weekly calls with me. You have a module to go through each and every single week. Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, we do our calls, our weekly calls. They are recorded if you cannot make it. All right. This is where we're going to build your foundation of the stairway system. You're going to get access to all of the scripts. I have scripts for ED, vaginal dryness, regenerative, anti-aging, menopause, neuropathy, laser hair removal, whatever. We have scripts of what do you say when people call in? What do you say when they come into the clinic? Everything is written down. What do you say? We have what we call a 9-question script. It's our big money script, the $1 million script. The reason why is that script has made me literally tens of millions of dollars. If you can ask 9 questions in a row and follow those, you will get people who will ask to buy from you. You also have access for your entire team so that your team can be trained. If you need to train your team on the scripts of how to go through the big money script, all of that, all you do is just plug them into our system and we will show them how to do it. And I guarantee that you will earn back your investment by 3x in the first 90 days. Okay. Total value is $12,000. Now, I want to tell you about some case studies. Okay. I think this is really, really important because I believe that I can talk to you all day long about how great our stuff is, but I want to show you how great our stuff is. This is Dr. Kane Lai. He's an anesthesiologist. He is Stanford undergrad. He is Vanderbilt Med School. Okay. He got tired of being an anesthesiologist. He wanted out of that racket, the stress of that. Even though he was making really good money, his kids are really into hockey. He loves to play hockey and he wanted more time to play hockey. So what he did is he started with one clinic in Denver. Okay. And it's an ED clinic. And Kane is a really smart guy. He really basically goes in about 2 days a week for 2 half days. He does everything via the comfort of his home. Okay. He meets with his patients. He does HRT and he does ED for men. He has a few female patients that come in for HRT, but the bulk of his clients are that. He orders all of the blood work. He does everything via telemedicine. Now, today, he owns clinics in Encino, Phoenix, Vegas, South Florida, and upstate New York. He has not set foot in the ones in Phoenix, Vegas, South Florida, or upstate New York. He has not been there. He does all of it via telemedicine, and he has nurse practitioners and doctors on staff that do the treatments in those local areas for him. And they're happy because they're seeing patients, and he's happy because he's getting leverage. This is only possible because we taught him the stairway system. Okay. When we met him, he was doing okay, but he wanted more. Today, his kids just made travel hockey team. He never walks into his clinics. He plays poker. That's him qualifying for the World Series of Poker. And he plays hockey. He plays hockey every Wednesday. Okay. And his kids are big hockey players. So then let's talk about tools. Okay. So I like to give tools. Now, this picture can look a little confusing, but this is just a screenshot of all the different types of tools in the Stairway system that we have available for you to use to help you scale your practice. We show you how to create one-page plans in order for you to keep the scaling of your practice simple. I show you how to focus in on just a couple of key levers in your business. If you are not focusing in on your metrics and your key performance indicators, then your business is going to continue to struggle. And so we want to not only target on monthly revenue, but we want to target on revenue per transaction. What does it cost to acquire a customer? If you don't know those numbers, then we need to zero in on those because they will give you ability to leverage and scale your business. If you're having constraints in your business, we have a process to break those down, all of this, and we focus on where you want to be in the next 3 years. So all of those tools are included. You get all of our scripts, all of our inbound scripts, outbound scripts, big money, testimonial scripts. Testimonial scripts are huge. Every single patient needs to be coming back in on a follow-up visit and getting a testimonial. My doctors average at least one video testimonial a week. Think about it, at the end of a year, that's 52 video testimonials. Now, there are some constraints about what they can say on that. We don't obviously talk about regenerative and stem cell and all of that, but these are all done within compliance of how testimonials need to be done. We have a script, we have a waiver, we have everything done for you. All you have to do is ask the questions. But you can tell I'm really big on doing things for you and making it as easy for you as possible. This is over $10,000 worth of value. Okay, here's what else you get. Twice a month, you get what are called Ask Matt Anything calls. Okay, these calls are designed to do exactly that. Ask me anything you want. Okay, the other day we actually had a funny conversation, I think, about college football, and for the most part, it's really about business. But it's, again, we're going to be talking about business. If you're having trouble, what niche do you want to focus in on? Get on the call. Those are on every other Monday. Once a month, we have marketing calls. We bring in, I'm a marketer at heart. And so, for example, we're going to be bringing on people like Julie Guest, who markets for plastic surgeons and charges them $50,000 a month to market for them. Her agency is massive. And while that's probably out of the price point of everybody, she's there to share information, knowledge. One of my best friends grew his med spas from 1 location to 25 and sold them to a venture capitalist group. He's now retired in Wilmington, North Carolina. He's agreed to be on the call. So I have all these connections to some of the best in the industries of what I do from a business standpoint, and those are on. So you get to learn from some of the best in the business and the best of the industry. We do a once a month advances in medicine calls. A lot of times this is our doctors themselves sharing what they do for being successful from a medical standpoint. And then once a quarter, you get 2 half-day quarterly planning sessions where you and your team can jump on and we will build together as a group your quarterly plan. What are the main focuses that you're going to be focusing in on? What are the metrics you want to hit? And then what we do, those are at the beginning of January, April, July, and October. Okay. Then every month, at the beginning of the month for February, March, May, June, August, September, November, and December, we meet for a half day on Zoom. All of this is delivered via Zoom, just like this. We do half-day check-ins where you can check in and how you're doing with your quarterly plan. Okay. Access to me. I run these. My team is on there. So this is everything that you get. Total value of this is $24,000. Your team is included in all of this at no charge. This is what happens after the 12-week sprint. These will start in June or January. So this is the story of Tracy Page. Tracy called me a little over a year ago. She was opening a clinic in Appleton, Wisconsin, and she didn't know if she wanted to do regenerative or weight loss. And so we started working with her prior to her opening. In her first month open, she did $28,000. It was a year ago, May. Her 4th month, she was at $83,000. I was playing golf this past January, and she shared with me that she did $120,000 for the month within 9 months of opening. Today, her practice is doing in excess of $190,000 a month. She has NPs on staff. She is seeing less and less patients, and she is taking more and more time off. And if you are just opening a practice, do not worry about it. Okay. The program is designed to take you from basic fundamentals to success, like Tracy, or if you are transitioning and you've never done any cash, you don't know a lot of things. A lot of questions I get are, Matt, I don't know what to do. I know I don't want to do insurance care anymore. What do I do? So I tell them, get a business mastery fellowship, get on the call. We answer that problem for you. I don't know what my niche should be. We'll help you answer that problem. I don't know what my offer should be. We'll help you answer that problem. I don't think my clients will actually pay for this. I'll answer that question for you in just a minute. Okay. So this goes on and on. Okay. And startup offices, if you are in a startup, they actually get special calls to help navigate the landmines of opening. This is Cassie and Heidi. They just opened up their clinic this week as of this recording. I was showing them how to generate, they were generating $15,000 a month prior to opening. Their opening was delayed 4 months because of construction delays and supply delays. I guided them through how to get the contractor off their keister and get this place done and closed, okay? Or open, I should say. So what they said very simply was they couldn't have done it without us. They went into their clinic today, or this week, I should say, and they're seeing patients and they're happy. So you'll be able to get rid of things like Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Health Group, Centene, Humana, Cigna, Anthem, your personal debt, the stress in your life, the frustrating patients, your medical school debt, and so much more. I want you to have the freedom that you richly deserve. I'm so sick and tired of doctors getting burnt out, of having to work 12 and 14-hour days, of not being treated with respect by fellow patients, or dealing with people that are just drug seekers looking for their latest hit. Okay. I want you to earn the respect that you richly deserve. You are the smartest, the brightest people in our society, and you need to be treated as such. And I want you to have the respect. I no longer want people to say, doctors don't know what they're doing when it comes to business. My mission is very, very simple, is to help you become excellent business people so that you can show everybody what a phenomenal doctor you are. Okay. So you'll be able to take more vacations, take more time off, put more money in the retirement account, pay yourself more money. You'll be able to do all of that. Mark Hawas is in Toronto, Canada, of all places. He sent me this text last Friday. He sees patients 6 days a month. He said, Matt, I just wanted to share, we had an amazing day. They did $37,000 last Friday. They collected $22,000, $15,000 to be collected in 30 days. His average transaction value is $8,300. Mark works only 6 days a week in the clinic. And he said, thank you for everything you do. God bless. He is, quite frankly, one of our most successful doctors. And when he came to me, he didn't think that anybody in Canada would pay out of pocket because of their national healthcare system. He thought he was going to charge $650. And it's funny now, he's on every single call, right? And when we get new people in, they'll say, oh, well, we're not going to be able to do that on our market. And I don't even have to talk. Mark jumps right on him. And he tells them his personal story. And some of you that are on here have heard him tell that personal story. And he is a true testament of what we do. He does the work. We meet on a regular, he's in an upper level group, a private client group, but he's on all the calls. He never misses a call. He always finds time. And this is a guy that is working 8 to 10 hours a week, or to 8 to 10 hours a day in another practice for somebody else. He's highly, highly compensated, but he knows where that business is going. So he's opened up his own clinics. This guy works nonstop, and he makes time to be on all of our calls and do all of the work. And this is the success that he's having. He works 6 days a month in his clinic. His staff is there 5 days a week treating patients and answering calls. And he comes in for patient consults and PRP injections only. That is his wife to the right of him, Samaya. Okay. This is a guy who was born in Syria, raised in Saudi Arabia, went to med school in Pakistan, came to Canada, had to learn the language. So this is a guy that, it's not like he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's overcome his own hardships. In fact, he injured his back so badly, he couldn't even pick up his own children. He used to weigh about 80 pounds more than you see in that picture right there. And he has done the work because he wants a better life for he and his wife and kids and his 2 boys. Okay. The problem with our industry is everyone is selling you things. Business Mastery Fellowship is designed to give you freedom from the things. I want to give you a system with our stairway system. My average client saves you over $40,000 in bad vendors, bad marketing, faulty lead generation systems, and much more. Now you might be thinking, I don't think this time is right. it's always the right time to get started. I want to get a little bit better at business, then I'll start. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. That's like me. I mean, could you imagine if I said, you know what, I want to go read just a few more things about how to cut somebody open before I go to learn how to be a surgeon. Now, I'm all for learning more on the side, but why delay your learning process? If you have the heart and desire that you want to go ahead and you want to become a successful business person, a practice owner, to be able to treat patients the way you want, why wait? Get started now. You might be embarrassed with the fact that you don't know anything about business or you're not very good at marketing. I don't care. That's why I'm here. Okay. I promise you, I'm here to help you and I want to protect you and I want you to do well. Money may be really tight. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I think I need to go attend a seminar on a machine and then I'll be ready. I love this. Talked to a guy the other day and he goes, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a couple of machines and go to their training and then I'm going to hire you. I said, you won't have any money. Because the fact is that he's getting machines that he'll never, ever use. What I explained to him is it's better off for him to work with me. I can help guide him on what is the right machine. I can probably help him about 20, 30, help him save 20, 30, $40,000 in the negotiation, or even find how to a better machine for significantly less. Okay. So Matt, this sounds great. How much is this going to cost me? Well, the better question is what will it cost you to not take action? Okay. Here's what you will get. This is a total value of $60,000. You get the 12-week sprint to install the system. It's $12,000 value. All the tools, scripts to scale. 1 full year of coaching. Now that's $12,000. This is $24,000 for the full year of coaching. Total team access is priceless. And how to 3x your business in 90 days. That's $12,000. Okay. So you can get started right now. The investment for Business Mastery Fellowship is only $12,000 for the year. Okay. Now, I have a couple of other bonuses I want to give you, okay? So the first one is, I'm going to do this to make this an absolute no-brainer for you. If you have a list of patients, I don't care how old that list of patients is. I don't care if they're all Medicare and Medicaid. I'm going to share a case study with you in just a moment of a client who didn't think that any of her people on Medicare and Medicaid would actually be able to, would buy from her. And you'll see a letter from her in just a moment that will tell you differently. I will, and I'm going to give you another system for free that will virtually guarantee that you will make $10,000 in 45 days. That's simple. Okay. And we have a system where we can take the names that are on your patient file. I don't need their medical information. All I need is their contact record. We sign a business agreement with you. So that way, you don't have to worry about the HIPAA compliance. I don't want any medical information whatsoever. And we have a HIPAA compliant system that we set up for you that allows us to go in and market directly to your patients. And what we do, our team will work with you to set up an entire process, the same process that we did for Dr. Mark Pietropoli. I've done it for Trevor. I've done it for Mark Hawes. I've done it for Nicole Garcia. I've done it, I think Kevin Eister's on here. We've done it for him. We've done it for a lot of other groups, and we are going to do it all for you. Here's what we are going to do. Our team, we have an account manager on this. We'll set up an entire email system for you. We will set up what's called a CRM that'll allow us to email your list. And you might think, man, I have email capability through my EMR. No, you don't. You do not. Not the way that you want to do this in order to get people to buy from you. We are going to take your entire list of patients and we will clean it for you. What that means is we will get updated email addresses. We'll get updated addresses, physical addresses. We will take it and we are going to upload it into our own system. It's a client relationship management tool that we have built specifically for medicine that is HIPAA compliant. We have people on staff that will write emails for you to your list for an offer that is proven to make you $10,000 in 45 days. I have done this in the US and Canada. I've done this again, regenerative, ED, anti-aging, menopause, vaginal dryness. I've done it in aesthetics. We've done it in back pain. I've done it in weight loss. We've done it in neuropathy. We've done it in just about every part I can think of. We will write emails for your list and we will do an offer that is proven to make you $10,000 in 45 days. We will set up a follow-up campaign so that only the best of those prospects will raise their hand. You will wind up with that entire process that we did for Mark Pietropoli, where we sent out 600 emails, had 60 inquiries, we had 12 appointments, and he made $59,000. That is the exact same process we will load into we will do for you. And the cost to do it, we'll train your staff on how to follow up. We'll train your staff on how to convert and sell, you will have this system for free for 90 days. At the end of the 90 days, there's a couple of different options that we can do. You're under no obligation. I do not automatically charge you at the end of 90 days. We'll have that discussion as we go. The total value of this is $4,500 at a bare minimum. You will get it for free for 90 days. Okay, that's a $4,500 value I will give you for free for 90 days. Okay, and this is the story of Dr. Vicki James. And I see that Vicki is on here while she's on vacation. Thank you for coming, Vicki. But Vicki was kind enough to send me this, this letter. And I will tell you that one of my greatest joys, just like you all probably have when you are working with patients, is when a patient tells you how thankful they are that you've been able to help them. This is Vicki's team. Sorry, Vicki, I couldn't find a more current picture. That's the only one I could find online. So, but she wrote this and sent this to us this week. And I'm just going to give you some of the highlights, but she attended our event in last year at this time in November of 2021. It was a 2-day workshop of how to grow to a 7-figure medical practice. And so she decided to come. She brought her her front office member, this lady right here. I believe her name is Virginia, if I remember correctly. Vicki is a family medicine physician who was continually being dismissed when she shared with her colleagues how undermined by the insurance companies, their reimbursements, what was happening. And she found out that many of these same physicians had sold their practices to the hospitals, ACO. So she came to the summit, the workshop. Many of you might be like, who is this guy, right? And here's what she said, that I understood the problems that physicians' reimbursements are facing in the current healthcare model and validation that the model would never work as an independent physician, that we shared very personal documentation of our success and strong evidence that we had cloned the principles needed to help her and other doctors grow to a much higher level of wealth with sound business practices. It convinced her that she needed to start changing her mindset. It's been one of the best things to see you do, Vicki, is to watch you change and what they're willing and able to pay. Vicki will tell you that she is in South Atlanta. She works with a group of people that are predominantly on Medicare and Medicaid. They are not the wealthiest of people in our society. And she didn't think that they would spend money. And even last week, we were in our group call, it was last week or the week before, and we were working with Dr. Lynn about creating his pricing, and he was really struggling that people would pay that amount of money. And Vicki chimed in and said, hey, if I can charge it, you can charge it. You know, people on Medicare and Medicaid, they will come in with bags of cash to get paid, get what they want. And she said, the plan is actionable. So, it's been great to watch her grow. And she has said that I see that I am growing and I have no regrets with my membership. So look, we have to take care of ourselves. And Vicki, I know you're on. Thank you so much for all of that. I appreciate you very, very much for everything that you have been doing yourself. So, so what is fellowship worth to you in business mastery? What's it worth to have one successful month? $10,000 day, $65,000 a month, more time off, more freedom. How much would you pay to get all of that? Well, here's how this works. I'll tell you, I'm going to give you some special pricing. The first option is to do nothing, go on, figure things out on your own, attend more technical trainings, and continue to take insurance. Or you can do the second option, which is sign up for the only program available for doctors by someone who owns practices, has a proven track record, and has your best interests at heart. Now, here's how Business Mastery Fellowship works. You have 2 different ways that you can pay for it. It is $12,000 for the year. You get over $60,000 worth of bonuses, plus the additional $4,500 where we're going to market to your list for you, okay? That we guarantee that you will make at least $10,000. I guarantee that you will also 3x your investment within 90 days, or we'll continue. I'll work with you personally one-on-one to make sure that that happens. You've got to attend all the stuff. You got to go through the programs. You got to do all of that. The price, the investment that you will pay, you have 2 choices. You can either do a one-time payment of $10,000, or you can do a 6-pay of $2,000 a month. To see that, all you have to do is go to srpmedicalmarketing.com/BMF-2. That's srpmedicalmarketing.com/BMF-2. Okay. Now, is there a guarantee? Like I said, make the meetings, go through the materials, do the checklists. I personally guarantee I will work with you until you earn your entire investment back times 3x. And again, go to srpmedicalmarketing.com/BMF. On there, you can see all kinds of different testimonials and things of that nature. In fact, I'll go there to that page right now. Let me just do this real quickly. There we go. Let me pull up my site over here, and I'm going to also open it up for any questions. Okay, and so, whoops, let me just do this. Hang on one second. I'm going to pause my share so I can pull this page up. There we go. All right. Resume my share. Okay. So some of the things is that Bryce said narrow focus. The biggest takeaway is narrow focus to primary of expertise. Surya, I hope I'm pronouncing your first name correctly. Have a mentor and just do what your mentor tells you to do. This is Business Mastery Fellowship, the page. Again, it's at srpmedicalmarketing.com / BMF-2. You will see here are the two payment options. You can do a one-time pay of $10,000 or 6 pays of $2,000. You get the quarterly masterminds, you get 6 group calls a month, the entire stairway system, access for your team. Oh, last thing I forgot to tell you. Everybody in Business Mastery Fellowship in this iteration, they get 20 CME credits upon completion of the system. So that'll be given to you when you finish the 12 weeks. Need a way to market to your list? We will give you that. That's a $4,500 bonus. You can see testimonials. Here's a video testimonial from Trevor. Here's one from Brian Rogers. I didn't even talk about Brian. He sold his practice for $750,000, and he got a 3-year contract for another $250,000 a year. Here's more just screenshots of people that have been making money doing the system. Testimonials from Tracy, Mark, Trevor, and there's just more and more. And you can ask me questions right there. So I appreciate y'all taking the time on a Saturday morning to join me. I am going to post this for a replay up on a Sunday afternoon. This replay will be up for a little bit. But for those of you that want to take that next step, go to srpmedicalmarketing.com /BMF-2. That's where you can learn more and watch some more testimonials. Does anybody have any questions that you want to put into the chat? Anything? Or anybody want to share anything you want? Unmute. We got kind of a small group today. No? Okay. Well, folks, thank you, John. I appreciate that so much. Hope to see you soon. I want to hear how things are going for you, buddy. Can't wait to hear. So, folks, I appreciate your time today. Check us out at srpmedicalmarketing.com /BMF-2. And I'll be around online if you want to ask questions on that page. That's me down there in that little chat box. And I look forward to working with you all very, very soon. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.